Alrighty.
All right, thanks, John, for organizing this again as usual, and thank you everybody for participating. Another good call, hopefully. Definitely some things to discuss with the recent changes, and I don't want to step on Ken's toes here. He's going to talk about the migration, but definitely I've heard good things about from various people about the changes with the switchover. I'm wondering if maybe we'd want to do another email to our regions to just let them know, because I know there was the delay because of the critical weather days that were being declared, so there was that couple of delays there. I'm wondering if we want to compose some sort of email, just let it go at this point. But I know I've gotten in there and have worked on some new pages that are communities I'm working on, and I've really found it really worthwhile with the migration. So that's all I wanted to share, and hopefully other people have also gotten in there and played around with the changes. But it's very much appreciated.
Alrighty. So I guess that brings us up to Ken, if he's available.
I am. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so hopefully you guys are seeing the new site. Hold on, let me mute these. Okay, so well, welcome. So as you can see, if you go out to VLab, it does have a new look and feel to it, and that's just really the tip of the iceberg. There was a lot of time spent on this migration. The underlying infrastructure has completely changed. That, of course, really doesn't impact the users, other than hopefully everything will go much more smoothly because it's using a modular design, which means that we had to rewrite all of our changes, but it's a good thing overall. But from a look and feel perspective, hopefully, you guys on the call, I know we've done some training before the upgrade, and then Jason Burks, with John's help, gave 2 sessions the week of, or I guess the week before the upgrade, since that got delayed because of critical weather days. But the site has changed, and if you see that if you run into any bugs, we're still finding a few. Please just let us know, and we're trying to address those as quickly as we can. But I think, as was noted, I think it's been a good change. The look and feel of the site's changed. The functionality, especially for those community owners, you're going to see things are a little bit different, but in a good way, I hope. All of the controls are on the left here in terms of managing the different pages, in terms of going in and administering the communities, like if you're needing to add members to a community or something like that, you can do that here, and configuration and things of the site. So we're, as I mentioned, at this point, we're going through and fixing a few remaining issues. Those we're getting there. So there are just a few things left to do that we're aware of, that were a result of the upgrade itself. But all of the forums are working as designed. There are new capabilities with regard to the forums themselves. The workflow when you're modifying content is much better and streamlined, especially in adding documents and images and things like that to web content. So I think those are all changes for the better. So with that, I don't know if there's anything in particular you guys want me to cover. I'd be happy to do so, but but that's where we are right now is we're using Redmine within the project to prioritize those remaining issues, and then as new things come up, we're assessing it and addressing them as quickly as possible. So, are there any questions regarding the migration or the site itself? One thing you will note is that if you need to change your community, make sure you click on this little site or community selector here, and it'll show the recent sites here. And then I believe that there's an issue with My Communities. While it works properly here, it's alphabetical. We know that it's not alphabetical for most users, and so that's one of the issues that we're trying to fix. But if you stick to the recent, that's going to show the most recently accessed communities in your list, which is kind of a nice thing, and that wasn't there before. So, all right, well, if there aren't any questions, we'll go ahead and switch it back to John.
Thanks, Ken. I appreciate you going through that.
Oh, sure. So is Steve on the call then?
I am on the call. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So I guess it's time for the director's update.
Director's update. Okay. So I just want to take the opportunity to thank Ken and the whole VLST team who worked so hard on this migration over the last 12 months. Really, tremendous amount of effort to try to make this transition as smooth as possible and as transparent as possible. We do a lot of customization inside Liferay, which is great, but it does complicate migrations such as this because we have to verify that all the custom portlets and custom work is properly transitioned. If we just sort of used things out of the box and didn't touch them, it would be much, much easier. So it's the nature of the game. Part of the power of Liferay is to do this custom work, and we intend to do more of it, but it does tremendously complicate switching out underlying infrastructure. So Ken and his team have just worked very, very hard to make this happen. And as he said, there are likely still issues that we uncover, the users uncover in VLab, and we would dearly love that there be reported to us through standard means, and we address them, as we can, going after the easy ones first, of course, and then maybe the harder ones a bit later. But overall, this puts us in a much better footing to support the growth expansion of VLab for a good long while, and we intend to do that. Usage keeps increasing, but there's still a lot of other users who are beginning to use VLab for the first time. So they're going to have a new experience that older VLab users haven't had with this DXP. But that's fine, and we look forward to that. I did on terms of just general things on my mind. In terms of the hosting of VLab, we were having issues during the last few months with IDP, since we're only hosted in College Park in IDP and not the Boulder site. We had a couple of down periods associated with College Park going down. Things have thankfully stabilized to some degree, and we've been pretty good recently, knock on wood. I hope I don't jinx us. We're still sort of penciled in to eventually get onto the Boulder site, but we're behind a bunch of other applications that are more operationally critical, that'll first go over to Boulder before we do. So we will remain, sort of status quo, but hopefully, things will be good for the most part. I think the other thing I wanted to mention was there's an NRAP position out on the streets that may have gotten to you through a variety of means for a VLab outreach director. There goes John putting it there. So if you go to the NRAP site and peruse the announcements, you'll find it there. There it is there. You can get it on the news. So I've recognized that we could use a helping hand by having somebody sort of dedicated to the never-ending job of providing outreach for VLab. So we thought it'd be a cool kind of leadership, enticing assignment to somebody to apply to this position and be able to use their initiative to go out and blaze trails for us, come up with new ways of getting the word out, supporting our user base. As I said, it's sort of never ending, but we're really looking for somebody with a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm to take this opportunity and really run with it. So if you know somebody, if you're interested yourself, or you know somebody who might be, I would really recommend that they apply because I think it's a great opportunity to demonstrate, as I said, leadership and initiative at the really NOAA level, and there probably would be travel involved. So if somebody wants to do some traveling, get around and promote VLab on the boots on the ground sort of thing, I'm sure that's going to be part of this. And it doesn't have to be. It can be remote. In fact, I'm guessing most of the people applying would be remote, but we certainly do that. VLab itself supports remote everything, so it would be pretty strange for us to have a VLab position and have the person have to be physically in one place. So anyway, enough said of that. Other than that, I think hopefully we'll settle down now and get back to the business as usual of improving things in general and supporting the user base. So I think I'll stop there and take any questions, if there are any.
Steve, I have a question. When is the end date for the NRAP? Do you know when the closing date is on that?
I think it's they're all May 11th, I think.
So we're coming up pretty soon then.
Yeah. So people need to I go into the site and apply. However, and I think sometime after May 11th, they'll send me all the applications to review, and we'll definitely do interviews and select somebody. And I think this is also specified like 12 months with option to renewal. They allow now, I believe, a more open-ended sort of a deal. So we're looking for somebody who's, I think to really make headway on this, it's going to require a 12-month kind of thing, so that we can get a few things going, and it's part-time. It's not full-time, but I think the NRAP has grown and is quite flexible in the terms of how these particular assignments are fulfilled. So yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering about possibly sending out a note to Central Region, Weather Service Central Region, kind of highlighting that to, if there's interest, to kind of give them maybe a few additional tidbits of anybody else that might be interested in that. But I appreciate you giving the specifics there.
Yeah, so you'd like me to send something to Central Region? Or?
No, I will. I was just
okay.
trying to share additional information, what you just said, and so that'll kind of.
Yeah, sure. And if anybody wants to chat with me about it, they're more than welcome. Just shoot me an email, which is the best way to get me.
Steve, this is Todd with NOS. Do you know if this opportunity is limited to Weather Service employees only?
No, it's all NOAA.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely. All NOAA. I think all. Although the NREP site is sort of partitioned by line office opportunities, all the announcements I think are open to all NOAA employees, and definitely this one is. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, that's all I got. So back to you, John.
All righty, wonderful. Let's see. So I guess that brings us down to the open forum. Does anybody have any items for our open forum today? One thing I thought I'd use this time for, just real briefly, is to mention that we have on our in our community a particular page. If you go, let's see, under VIT process and go to awaiting processing, click that, you'll get this page that shows a number of Redmine issues that, and of course it's broken down by VIT member, which basically are things that we have on our plate to consider. That is, the individual who's assigned has on their plate to consider, and ideally we'd like to keep this list essentially empty. So if you see your name on here and have some free time, please go in, review the issue if you haven't already, and decide what sort of disposition the issue should be brought to. So a couple options might be to reject the particular submission. So it, for whatever reason, doesn't seem to merit the endorsement of the VIT, then you would reject it. You might also decide that, wow, this is a good idea, and I can change it to, let's see, a nominated candidate, and that would allow us to then consider it at a future meeting. And then you might also go back to the submitter and try to get some more information to sort of beef it up a bit, and then it would be in some sort of status of awaiting processing. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention in case you hadn't visited that particular page recently, and invite you to take a look. Any questions about that? Okay. Any other items for our open forum?
John, this is Reed. I just wanted to mention real quickly that there's a new backup representative for Western Region, Nicole Peterson, who's out of WFO Pocatello, and she'll actually be on the next call and actually probably a few of the subsequent ones because I won't be here back until August due to some scheduling issues.
All right. Thanks for that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, if there are no additional items for the open forum, then I think we need to do a quick review of the open action items that we have before us from previous meetings. And we have recently, just in case you weren't aware, we've recently updated our, basically the action item list in such a way that you can now, if you want to quickly get to it, you can go to our team documents. And then one of the items under that particular menu is the meeting action items. So it takes you right to the list of items. And of course, now we've got it sorted so that the open ones are at the top, making it real easy for us to take a look at what's on our plate, so to speak. So the first item is based on Bill Ward's presentation a couple meetings back. We're trying to get a hold of a set of slides to sort of document what he provided us during his update, and that's still an open item. I've alerted Steve Smith to the need for perhaps his assistance in getting Bill to address this particular issue for us. So we'll be working on that between now and I believe the next meeting. Then we also have an open action item. The next three are regarding the strategic planning team, and basically they address the idea of first, I guess he's going to provide us the list or the presentation that he provided a couple meetings back. He also is going to incorporate some possible policy topics in his final report, documenting where the VITs or the VLab should go, strategically speaking. And then he's also been charged with creating the report, documenting what he and his team come up by way of recommendations. So those are three on his plate and still open. And then Tammy has a item to continue, I guess, to work with Eric Rasmussen on refining his, I think he's primarily focused on the forum within his community. And I believe I saw recently that he was going to look at some of the VLab's DXP capabilities and see if perhaps they might be able to help him out there. So this is still very much a work in progress, and so perhaps next time Tammy's here, she can give us the definitive update on what's going on there. Any questions about the current open action items? Okay. Given that there are no questions on that, we come to the new action item review. And I have let's see, well, I have two action items. The first is David plans to send out a email to Central Region, I guess, SUs, alerting them to the NRAP position being offered in the VLab. And then there was another action item which I think I need some clarification on, also raised by David at the beginning of our meeting. He mentioned, he asked a question, I guess, was there the need to send out an additional email regarding the migration? Is that...
Yeah, that's correct, John. I wasn't sure if we should send something out that just to kind of let people know that the migration has taken place if they haven't gone into VLab since the migration, and then also to remind them that if they do come across issues or bugs, to let the VLS team know about that. I don't know if that sounds like that would be a worthy cause to pursue or not.
I'd be happy to draft such an email and provide it to members, and then they, at their discretion, could send it out.
I think that would be a great idea. Thank you.
Okay, then I have that action item, and I'll get to that and hopefully have it ready before the end of the week. And those are the only two action items I believe we have from this meeting. Did I miss anything?
I don't think that. I think that was it. So yeah, this is a pretty short meeting today.
All righty. Then I believe we will meet next on May 8th, again at 1 p.m. And thank everyone for participating.
All right, thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.